Minasan, konnichiwa. Boku no namae wa Kumo Sensei desu. Why, hello there everyone. I'm the Kumo Sensei, and today we're talking about some VTuber drama, which is pretty much going quite off the roof. And this has to do with a YouTuber named Depressed Nousagi. And for those that don't know, this guy talks about the history of VTubers, and he actually makes some very solid content. As for me, I am not familiar with the VTuber world because I try to stay away from it because a lot of people are very attached to certain VTubers that they like, such as their fan bases and whatnot. So I tend to pretty much steer away from VTubers, but this drama is ridiculous in a way. I don't know if it's blown out of proportion or if it's just like crazy big. But I have to say though guys, I am not familiar with VTuber drama, quote unquote, so I don't know how big of a problem this is to say. So apparently this all started because people were talking about how Depressed Nousagi was talking about VTubers' personal lives and their personal stuff on Patreon and whatnot, and then from there on everything just spiraled out of control. And as of today guys, Depressed Nousagi made a response video, and I'm going to give you my personal take on some of this stuff. So without further ado guys, like, comment, subscribe, and stay updated to the random stuff I upload every single day. And without further ado guys, ikuyo. Alright guys, here's his response video, and I'm going to give you my personal opinions. I'll leave a link to this down below, so watch it yourself. And I want you guys, as a viewer, to make your own opinions. Because what I say is my personal opinions, and let's be honest, everybody's thoughts are different. So you may agree or disagree with me or Depressed Nousagi. So that's why I'm here. And let us go.
Hello, and thanks for coming to the video. I was aware of what's been happening, and I apologize it took me this long to address it. I needed to clear my thoughts and wanted to make sure I made this video with a level head. There's been things going around me, but first things first, is it true that I discussed the past lives of VTubers on my members and Patreon? Yes. I know that's all the information a lot of you needed to hear, but I feel like I need to address a few assumptions and misinformation because it goes deeper than this.
Go on.
I wanted to discuss VTubers and their stories in a greater context than just their current personas. To avoid this content appearing publicly for anyone to stumble across it unwillingly, I put it on my Patreon. I said that I had this kind of content throughout my channel's history. I never sought to hide it from my viewers and
So basically he was transparent about it, okay. Everyone was making it seem like he just started doing this, but apparently it goes on sometime back on Patreon. So yeah, that's, in my personal opinion, I think that is actually quite a bad move. Because the problem I have is that knowledge is a huge power, and depending on who has it, they can use it for good or bad. So to discuss people's VTuber's life beyond their VTuber persona, I think it was a really bad move, especially putting it behind Patreon. Wait, did he address if he deleted those, or is it still there? Hold up, let's continue.
Who might be also interested in that content. What happened wasn't some gotcha moment or a secret thing that I've been doing behind the scenes. I did my best to be transparent about it. When I announced my Patreon, I even made an entire video about it back in March. While I always tell my viewers to support me by joining my membership or Patreon, I don't use the past life aspect as part of its appeal when I do. In fact, I don't tell people the perks of my Patreon in my videos at all.
Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that his Patreon is not just about their, their personal lives. There's other stuff, but the personal life stuff was just a small portion of his Patreon. Apparently, that's what he's saying.
They discover that themselves when they're interested enough to actually look at my page. It's my way of giving people a layer or an obstacle from the information, my own way of containing it. I never deceived or intended to deceive my audience. A lot of people have also spread misinformation surrounding those videos too, saying that I put in their addresses, numbers, or whatever sensitive and dangerous information that the talents had. But those are all untrue. The things that I put in those videos have no actionable content whatsoever.
Okay, so that actually clears up one of the rumors that was going around on Twitter. There were some people that was retweeting and tweeting out stuff like this guy was leaking addresses, their phone numbers and whatnot, but I guess that's all BS.
What I did was just merely go over their history on the internet, telling their journey along the way and how they broke into VTubing. I've privated my Patreon and my exclusive content, but anyone who has seen those videos would know that those videos weren't made with malicious intent. That they aren't as bad as a lot of people painted them to be. That
Okay, I understand where he's coming from. Yes, he had no bad intentions when he did his Patreon. But the problem is not him personally, but is those very small number of people who gets way too personal with VTubers and have this unhealthy relationship with this parasocial. Yeah, I think it's the. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's necessarily the 99% that are bad. It's that 1% of people that have really bad intentions that will use that information for their own parasocial relationship. So I think he should have been more cautious about it, or actually he shouldn't have done it at all, because anything personal on the internet is a bad thing most of the time. Like 99% of the time, anything personal on the internet is bad.
I was just telling their story as truthfully and artfully as best I could. I don't think just publicly making videos about the past and faces and whatever of VTubers with an intent to expose them is a good thing. I think
Okay, so we're on the same page. He didn't have any bad intentions. I don't think anyone had bad intentions, but that small 1%, I guess.
that's bad. But that's not what I did. I told their story as gracefully as I could. How they came up on the internet, their struggles, how they overcame it, their highs in life, how they celebrated achievements, their goals, what they wanted in life, how VTubing changed them. I treated their information delicately and pursued telling them in the most artistic way I could. But I suppose most people's problem is that I never should have made those videos in the first place. That it doesn't matter if I did it tastefully. There was no excuse for talking about past lives.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the majority. I think talking about people's personal lives, especially the past lives, even if it's subtle, I don't think it's a good idea, especially because VTubers focus primarily on portraying themselves as a character rather than, like, you know, showing themselves as a personal, actual person. So I kind of agree with the general populace of, talking about VTubers as past lives is not really a good idea.
That what I did was still wrong, and that putting it behind a paywall makes it worse.
I agree. Putting it behind a paywall is a horrible idea. Any sort of information or anything in general put behind a paywall generally is a bad idea. I mean, unless you're trying to support your creator, which makes sense then, but it seems like, in this case, people were paying on his Patreon to use the information that he was giving out, which is the problem I have.
And to that, I don't honestly have a response that may satisfy you. Yes, I knew it was taboo, but I still did it anyway, not because of the money, but because I wanted to tell their stories. I wanted to tell it to an audience that wanted to seek it, without the rats and misinfo that 4chan or other archiving sites may have. This is why I didn't just upload those videos for the public and outright share them. I didn't want it to be overt. It's why I never advertised the perks of my exclusive videos, so it's not readily available for just anyone. But I'm sorry to my fans, to the people that looked up to me, and to the VTubers that I have hurt. I don't know how what happened would affect everyone involved, but please know I haven't slandered anyone.
From my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe that he was blacklisted from a lot of VTuber communities because of this. And somebody tell me in the comments, what it was basically everything that backlashed against him besides accusations of him leaking personal stuff. Because even though I have a Twitter, my Twitter feed is not VTuber stuff, because like I said, I'm barely in the VTuber community, so I don't know the VTuber world as well as the majority of regular fans and whatnot. So I would like to know what it was his, repercussions of what he did.
Or put anyone in a dangerous situation. I know some viewers and fans are disappointed, but let it be known I never tried to deceive anyone. I know a lot of VTubers have lost their respect and don't want anything to do with me. And they may even regret interacting with me. I know I have lost the goodwill and trust of many people. But again, please know that was never my intention with my exclusive content. I just wanted to tell grander stories than what I already make for the public. Stories that were taboo, yes, but stories that I liked, found inspiring, and wanted to share with a few willing.
I think he really meant it when he said that. I don't think this guy has any bad intentions whatsoever. I just think the way he executed it was not done poorly, but is done dangerously. I think this guy flew way too close to the sun.
From the day I started this channel, when I started that Patreon, I was always flying this close into the sun.
Oh wow, he just quoted me. That is, so he understood what he was getting into basically.
But at the end of the day, I know people hate the bottom line of what I did. That I'm unforgivable in their eyes for it. Still, if you are one of those people and have made it this far into the video, I still want to thank you for at least hearing me out.
We're all human. We all make mistakes. The question is, it's not really me per se, because I think this guy had like good, how should I say this? I think this guy had good intentions, but I think the information he gave out to the people and the general populace was really executed poorly in some ways, especially the Patreon stuff. Thinking about it, guys, I think this guy is not a bad person, but VTuber stuff is very sensitive. So I think like he knew what he was getting into. I'm surprised he doesn't seem prepared for the backlash as I thought he would. Because stuff like this, man, this stuff don't fly easily, I tell you what. Especially with VTuber fans, because a lot of them are very interlaced with their Oshis. I think that's what they call it, right? Oshis and whatnot.
If my address doesn't satisfy you, or if you are even more upset with this, then I'm sorry. Because this is all I can say.
Honestly, he can't really do much to begin with. Like, even if he apologizes, does charity work and whatnot, haters gonna hate, my dude. You just kind of have to learn to deal with it. Especially for anyone who's making online content, they're gonna get backlash. Or haters in general.
I'm still in denial of the reach and responsibility I have in the community now. Back when I still had 15k subs and 20k views a video, when I made my Patreon promising those content, I thought I was someone people sought unconventional knowledge from. The little guy, too small for anyone to care about, skirting the edges of what was allowed in the community. I still think I was that channel. 20k or 200k views, it didn't change the way how I thought and saw myself and my content.
That's bad news, man. I'm gonna be completely honest. The bigger your channel grows, the bigger reach you'll have. And the bigger your reach is, the more influence you have on people. And not everybody you bring in are not good people. So I think as you grow bigger, you need to take in more consideration of the people and the videos you make out to, like whoever you're making your contents for. And man, I don't think this guy was paying attention at all when he was doing that in terms of growth. But I do think this guy is pretty genuine right now.
Didn't think about the consequences offering that kind of knowledge would bring. I didn't
Okay, yeah, he just stated what I was thinking.
realize the weight of my responsibility. And this whole incident was the wake-up call.
Okay, so now he finally understands. Okay. I'm surprised he didn't really pay any attention to what he was putting out. I think his content is pretty good because I saw a couple of his videos before I started diving into this. I do think this guy makes informative videos, but I'm surprised he didn't really thought it through. Like, the weight of responsibility. Like what they said in Spider-Man, guys. With great power comes great responsibility. I mean, he has 70k subscribers. So, his fan base is way bigger than mine. I only have 300. Come on. So, yeah, this guy is learning now for real.
But I've come to a decision to leave the rabbit hole.
So he's quitting talking about VTubing. To be honest, at this point, his fan base seems pretty loyal based off the comments. I think he can literally just talk about anything and his fans will literally be with him. Because his fan base does seem pretty like loyal to him, so yeah.
I've given it a few days of thought and it seems to make sense to me. I can handle the hate. I can handle the backlash. Because I can learn from it. I can right my wrongs. Rebuild bridges. In many months, maybe. Just maybe I'll even be redeemed if I play my cards right.
I would not say play my cards right. Because it sounds like he's plotting. Like, he should have just left it as is and just not say play my cards right. Saying that makes it seem like it's fishy for like the people who are not familiar with this dude. But I understand where he's coming from though. This guy, I think he has good intentions, but it just went out of control.
But this whole thing affects how I feel about the VTuber community and how they feel about me. I've been blacklisted. I'm unwelcome. Whenever I watch a VTuber clip or some shenanigans on Twitter, I can't help but think that in the back of my mind, these people don't want me here.
So, okay, so it is true. This guy has been blacklisted from some VTuber communities and whatnot. That's going to hurt his channel a lot, especially if this guy focuses. His channel is literally talking about VTubers, and to see people blacklist them, especially VTubers themselves, he's not going to have much content to create. I don't know what he should do. My guess is to try something different, is to diversify his content other than VTubers, but let's see where he goes.
Whenever I want to comment under a tweet or a clip, whenever I appear on my Oshi's chat, I have this burning feeling that I'm not wanted. That even if people don't know I'm there, they still hate me personally. It affects how I enjoy making my content and how I can be active in the community. I love VTubers. I love this rabbit hole. I've been neck deep in a lot of cliques and communities for years.
Is he gonna
It
cry?
means the world to me. So I can't just disassociate myself and my emotions from the community and continue making content as is. The collective opinions of all VTubers, clippers, artists, and every type of community member, they still matter to me. Their words still matter to me. And I can't just ignore what they're saying. That they don't want me around. Even if all of this blows over, the stigma will always be there. So please.
That's true. Even if it blows over, all the stuff that happened will still stick around because some people cannot let go and some people cannot move on. And it's understandable in some cases. In this case, it is understandable for those people who are still mad at him, even in the future. Because VTubers and personal life, it's like the two things that literally, it's a recipe for disaster. So for those people that wants to forgive him, you're free to do so. And for those who hate him, haters gonna hate. Like for me, where I stand on this is I'm pretty neutral in this because I'm not really into the VTuber community as, the majority of people. So in a way, you can see this as me being the outsider looking into this. So take it where you will, guys.
Please don't frame this statement as if I'm playing the victim. I'm not. I don't mean to. In fact, most people, including...
Thank God he's not trying to play the victim. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm glad that he's not addressing himself as the victim because I hate when YouTubers do that. So he's at least taking responsibility. But at the same time, though, guys, crying, it makes you feel like he's trying to be a victim when he's not. So, but I understand he's trying not to be a victim, though. So, yeah, don't take my stuff out of context.
Myself would probably say that I'm just rightfully facing the consequences. Again, please know my content, exclusive or not, was never made to harm anyone. I just wanted to tell stories and have fun doing it. That's all I ever wanted to do in this channel. It was never about the money or the clout. Thank you for watching me. For laughing at my shitposts, for laughing at my jokes, for learning from my videos. Thank you for being with me until now. Thank you to every VTuber that I loved, to every sort of community member that interacted with me, to every subscriber that I have. Thank you for changing my life for the better. Thank you for everything.
And the video ends here. Now VTubers are getting recommended on my feed. Okay. Okay, guys, so what do I think of this? Honestly, though, guys, I think this guy's being genuine. I don't think this guy has any bad intentions. I feel like this guy just didn't understand what he was literally doing. Because, like I said, though, guys, I feel like this guy didn't understand the consequences of his videos that he was putting out as his, his fan base grew bigger and bigger. Because the bigger something grows, the more you kind of had to keep it in check so it doesn't go out of whack. And I feel like he's finally learning the consequences of that. Which is kind of strange because normally every single content creator that starts creating content, they know the repercussions of what their content can do. So I find it kind of surprising he didn't think about it earlier. And to see that he's actually trying to fix his problems or basically correct his wrongs, it tells us that he's actually somewhat trying. Now, As for his content, I'll be honest, my dude. I think talking about VTubers is a very, very taboo and sensitive topic, especially if you're talking about past lives, because their past life is one thing, their V2 life is another. So for those people who are shitting on this guy and hating on him, it's understandable why, but my god, that is some crazy stuff. I do think people are a bit overdoing it in some ways, but at the same time though, no VTuber wants to associate themselves with another YouTuber that dives into their past lives, because that is a literal red flag. And like I said, putting out anybody's personal life into a video or on the internet is a bad idea. But with that though, guys, I do think this guy is being genuine, and I do think that this guy will try to fix his wrongs. And I think the direction this guy should take is to slowly steer away from VTubers, because I think this community is gonna freaking roast him the longer he stays in this community. And even though his fans are loyal, the other fan bases for those other VTubers and communities and whatnot, I don't think they're gonna welcome this guy anytime soon. Because like from what I've seen, a lot of VTuber fans are very, very, very uptight, which I think is kind of scary and kind of parasocial to an extent. So with that though, guys, I'm the Kumo Sensei. I'm an outsider looking into this case here. I'm not a VTuber fan of any sort. I'm a literal outsider. And with that though, guys, I upload every single day. I upload random things daily. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and stay updated to the random stuff I upload here on the channel. I upload every single day. And also, guys, follow me on my socials, such as my Twitter and my Instagram, if you want to cancel me or whatnot. And also stop by whenever I live stream. I'll live stream anytime between Thursdays through Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that though, guys, that's really about it. See ya.